here.
Heart beating, we are here. Oh my gosh! And there's already quite a few of you in the room. See, I threw Danny off. I said that like the height was good, and then I lied. Wait, should it go down a little more? It should go down. Let's go down a little more, just a little bit more, so you're like seeing more of us and
this is
less of like the weird ether. A little down, a little further. There we go, right there. I know. As soon as Charles gets into the room, he's going to tell us that things are
we
not
won't
great.
officially start till now.
Yeah, now we're officially starting. And like we normally do, we'll start with announcements because we've got announcements, and yeah. Plus,
yes.
we've got to we've got to make sure that enough people are in the room. So, hey, well, welcome to Happy Hour Live on this lovely Friday. That is loud. We got this under control.
Yeah. You can tell we haven't done this in a while. We're a little lost, but
it hasn't been that long.
No, it hasn't been.
All right. So let's see. If we got you here, then we'll be able to. No, that's not the right one.
So
see, it's interesting because it does not look like we're going live. Oh, there we are. Okay, great. See, we're fine.
Bear with us for a split second.
We are human after all.
I know what's missing.
What's missing? Oh yes, this after all is happy hour. So you know
Terry,
what?
Pachanga Terry, you now can go ahead and have her. Terry is the one that gifted us these glasses.
Oh, amazing!
And you probably can't see them, but they say our names on them. And
it says our names on them. Yeah, it's really nice, and they're frosted, so they're gonna keep the beverages cold.
Justin says, "Don't forget the chicken timer."
Oh, then I guess this live stream has officially started. As long as we're setting the chicken timer.
I don't know if Terry's in the room yet or not.
Danny Knit Aesthetic wants to know how your eye is doing.
My eye's doing great, thank you. It's now starting to even look a little bit better. Before I did a YouTube video. Cheers.
Cheers.
And I looked like that one guy with that one eye was bigger than the other.
Oh.
I was editing the video. I was like,
yeah. So often I do that. I have filmed an entire video, and then I'll look back later and I'll be like, oh, my makeup was running down my face. But there was one video that I had actually where I had a piece of kale stuck in my teeth for the entire video. But it was a customer's car, and I filmed it at a customer's house. I was gonna go back there and refilm it. So I'm just like, you know what? Owning it. And still to this day, no one in the comments has noticed. At least they haven't told me.
I sometimes scrap a video because of that, and I kind of think, what's more important? Good content, like what I'm saying was actually on point, but the hair was sticking out all over the place, and it's like, so you gotta, balance. But anyway, thanks for asking about my eye. That is awesome.
Let's set some chicken timers.
We're gonna go old school.
Yeah, sorry, we're gonna go old school. Oh yeah, let's go for the OG.
Let's go for the OG.
And then I'll do this one for halfway. So you want to do 15, and I'll do 30 on this one, and then we'll do 45 on this one.
Done.
Of course, there's a special way to set these, and then that one will go all the way. All right. So first of all, announcements, people. Announcements. We've got a few upcoming events we want to make y'all aware of. So first of all, our next live stream is going to be, when is it? Wednesday, October 13th at 5 p.m. Now this is a special live stream because this is going to be our first book club back. So if you would like to be part of book club, first of all, you don't have to have the books and read. You can still just join us anyway and just, sort of enjoy what we're talking about. However, if you'd like to be part of book club, we highly recommend that you go out and get these books. Now, if you have been with us since the very beginning and have been a part of our book club, then you sort of remember that I went off to go film a show halfway in between book number 2, so we're only halfway through book number 2. However, for the sake of all of our new subscribers, we're going to start at the very beginning of book 2. This is the Smoky Eunuch trilogy, and actually, book 2 was pretty dense.
It's pretty good.
And there's a lot of talk about other people, a ton of influential people in Smokey's life, and I feel like it's worth a revisit, even for those of us that have already read it. I already sort of want to reflect back on all those cool people throughout history that have been in Smokey's life.
A lot of influential people in racing, and I bet book 2 does have a lot of that of racing history. So there's a lot of racing stuff that I didn't know about, stuff that I knew a little bit about, and stuff that just is just amazing. It's pretty cool. So we kind of, it wouldn't hurt to touch back on book 2 again because it does have a lot. In fact, at the speed we were going anyway, it was difficult to stay too long on any one person. And it's about a lot of people.
That's true. And oh my gosh, I'm so excited to see how many people in the comments are excited about book club again. Yay!
I get that feedback all the time. That's some of the most exciting thing. Book club's coming back. Book club's coming back.
So after the video's over, I will link in the description below where to buy the books at. However, Danny, where to buy the books?
Carbon Press. Trish Eunuch is the one that takes care of Carbon Press. She owns Carbon Press. That's Smokey's daughter. So we want to give them all the love we can. Not only that, if you go buy the books at Amazon or eBay,
even thrift books, you're gonna pay a lot of money for them, like $100 each or more.
They know how much people want these books. And it's crazy to spend $200, $300, $400, and $500 for these books.
Yeah.
And you can get them through Trish. There may be a little bit of smoke smell on some of them, which is kind of cool. I think
history.
Yeah,
mine are a little smoky. My books are a little smoky because they had a fire at the shop, at the warehouse. So they actually lost a lot of inventory, which is kind of sad. But then it makes sort of the books that we do get from that collection even more special. So
I saw somebody on another forum, on a smoky forum or something, said, "Well, I got mine, and it smelled like smoke," and I would have, that's kind of like I said, it makes it more authentic.
It makes it way more authentic.
And she's giving you a great deal. She was doing the pandemic special back then, but just talk to Trish. Anyway.
Yep, absolutely, and let her know that it's for book club. She's been like really supportive of book club, and it's been really awesome because we feel a little honored because it's like it's like talking to a celebrity. It's like you try not to be weird about it. You're like, just thank you, Trish.
And we don't feel. Well, I don't feel bad. I was going to say I shouldn't speak for both of us, but I don't mind being corrected. Like it's a shop mom, and she's already ready to go. If I don't know everything about Smoky Unicorn or everything, I have the gist of it, right?
Yes.
But Tony comes in the room.
Yes. That's such a good point. Yes, when we do book club, there's a lot of people that have known Smoky personally, and they join us in the chats, and it's really cool to have that
Trisha's husband comes in the room.
Yes, it's really cool.
So that's it adds to the authenticity of the correctness. We don't want to say anything wrong. I don't want to get every little detail right.
There's a lot of misinformation out there about Smoky.
Yes.
A lot of people had a lot of opinions about Smoky, for reasons which we will get into when we start reading the books again.
As you can tell, we can talk about Smoky the whole hour.
We can talk about Smoky the whole hour. So what we try to do is we make a specific day to just talk about Smoky.
Yep.
Danny is a huge Smoky Eunuch fan, has been like forever, and his enthusiasm has rubbed off on me. And now I'm a huge Smoky Eunuch fan. But I'm a Smoky Eunuch fan in training. I have a lot to learn. Whereas Danny knows a lot of stuff, so it's like I've been researching Smoky on the internet, and then like I'll talk to Danny about Smoky, and it'll just the information will not always mesh. So sometimes having like people who are actually in his life to sort of tell us what is actually true and what isn't true.
We can't wait to book 3 to his inventions because we have a lot of them here in the room. So there you go.
Lana's asking if Christy has a chicken timer. Yes, she does. Don't worry.
I'm gonna find out.
I just noticed that someone is asking if you are taking on any more work, and the answer at this point is indeed no.
Yeah, unfortunately,
neither of us are. We are swamped with it. Like we've got a very, very loyal customer base, and it's like as soon as one customer drops off, we can like take another one in. But like none of my customers have dropped off, and none of yours have either. Like we are so full of work. I'm amazed we even have time for this live stream. So, that was the first announcement. Our second announcement is that following the 13th, our next live stream will be on October 29th at 3:30. So just want to get those on your schedules so that you make sure that you're here and joining us in the room. Another announcement is we are going to have another High Cider viewing party of Motor Mythbusters. So if you watched Danny's live stream last time, there is an amazing local Cajun food joint and cidery, and they have this amazing outdoor theater, and they're going to be playing more Motor Mythbusters episodes, their favorites.
It's a great venue owned by great people. It's outdoors.
They're car enthusiasts, like automotive themed.
It's really cool. It's the Texas Hill Country. She has 2 different stages.
Yeah.
And actually broadcast this. She did it all up, and you can see it really nice.
It's really nice.
I was a little bit on the foo cider, I wanted just a regular beer. Can I bring a beer? And like Faye said, you do whatever you want, but it might not be, it's a little bit of stuff to go to a place and then bring your own beer. That being said, I stand corrected. That wine was amazing.
Yeah,
if you watch
really
the live streams, I end the live streaming out of the men's bathroom.
Yeah.
So
yes,
you have to go back now and watch. So
I love that episode. That's probably one of my. That was a good.
It was fun.
And Sherry like just rolled with it. The owners are just the most amazing people, and they're total car enthusiasts. They have some really cool old cars, and like the whole thing is automotive and like old like rockabilly themed. It's cool.
The food truck that's there is amazing.
Amazing.
That's a whole other story that we'll let Shop Mom share her experience with the food truck.
Oh, my guilt, you mean?
Your guilt.
Admit to my snobbish behavior and the guilt I felt afterwards. That's probably never going to happen, but it's a good memory for me. But before we go any further, let me just go ahead and let Miguel Camacho know that this is not the forum where we answer questions about what size flex time we need for our
Oh, no. Nope.
This is where we all come together and
happy
have
hour.
a good time. Yeah.
And that being said, we do not talk about anything that is like, we're just here to talk about automotive. So keep
We
any
gotta be
like
on a good.
keep all the negative vibes out of here. We are not going to talk about current events.
To lift
We're not,
people
yeah,
up.
yes.
Not
This is where you can escape to for the good stuff.
Yeah.
But anyway, so that is.
But hold on.
What?
Before if Miguel Camacho really wants to know, folks can send their questions to our email.
Oh, yes.
realshopmom@gmail.com, and we're very conscientious about answering them.
That's true. That's true. You can always send us an email. We read those during the breaks in between our ASE test questions. And you can also always, it's over there, but you can leave us a voicemail at the Real Shop Mom hotline at 830-308-8590.
You're awesome.
So, yeah, so just, give us a call. So anyway, the next viewing party is going to be at High Cider in High, Texas, 123 Rocky Road. And when is that? That is Saturday, October 16th at 7 p.m. All right. One last announcement before we jump into our first AC test question, and that is, I bought 3 hens.
Oh, I saw that.
I bought 3 hens, and 2 of them, let's just say I got a Pulitzer Prize, and 2 of them ended up not being pullets, but roos. I have 2 roosters I need to get rid of. They are friendly. I've been hand feeding them. They tolerate being held. I need to get rid of them, but I do not. It has been very hard for me to find a home for these roosters. I would love to keep them, but they're loud, and my neighbors don't like them when they complain. So I've got to get rid of them. I'm not even supposed to have chickens, but I need to get rid of them.
So if
anyone wants any roosters, let me know.
There's 2 available.
Come get them. They're beautiful.
Smoking
they're
deal.
Americanas. Smoking
Smoking
deal.
deal.
Free to a good home. They're amazing roosters. All right. Anyway, so last time I noticed that the one ASE that we haven't really covered in a while was suspension and steering. So I chose a few suspension and steering questions, and let's just jump right into them, shall we?
Let's get to
You
it.
guys ready for ASE test questions? Now, here are the rules. If you get the questions right, you have to take a drink. If you get the questions wrong,
Take a drink.
you have to take a drink. I mean, it's a win-win.
It's a fairly easy game.
Yeah, we got this. All right.
And we actually get a lot of humor from a lot of y'all actually are pretty damn good at this. All right.
Absolutely. So a lot of you asked where I get these questions from. I actually get a lot of these questions from this book right here, which is kind of an expensive book. No one pays me to promote this book. This is just a book that I use to pass my ASEs.
And congratulations, she's now a master. So the book works. And
book
guess
works.
what? Now you don't have to pay because we're giving these questions out.
Yeah, I'm not sure if we're allowed to reproduce this in any sort of form, but that's all right. We're just gonna pretend that
We're
it's
not,
fine.
we're not
We are
reproducing.
in-
We change a word. Every other word we change our own
Yes.
pronunciation of the word.
We are on page 179, A4. ASE A4 is steering and suspension. So I'm just gonna jump right in by asking question number 1 in chapter A4. All right.
Get your pencils ready.
A customer complains. A customer complains that steering wander occurs while the vehicle is being driven straight ahead. Technician A says that the front wheel bearing adjustments may be loose. Technician B says that the front wheels may have negative caster settings. Who is correct?
Ooh, that's it.
That's it. All right, I'm gonna read it
I'm
again.
not good in alignment.
So it's A only, B, technician B only, C is both, and D is neither. And actually, I've never been trained in an alignment machine either. I don't do alignments. So I do a nice tape measure alignment, but that's only for toe,
Yeah, so it's not. So we're gonna rely on some of y'all. So what was it? I don't think it's A, the bearing. Let's just discuss that. You did?
No, well,
the bearing has to be so loose for it to wander. I mean.
that has happened to me before.
Oh, okay. Well, then I stand corrected because I was thinking for that scenario to happen, you're talking.
Oh yeah.
Okay, well then we know it's possible. Okay.
Well, I thought because my rabbit I jacked up so high that I was having major axle issues and my axles kept on backing out. And when my axles backed out, what happened was the wheel bearings ended up getting really, really, really loose because they're sort of tapered, and you got the one that you press it, and then you got the roller bearings and sort of that style. So as the nut, I hammered that thing on there. Way tighter than it should have been, and still that thing over time I've excessive.
So you had to wander with the bearings.
I had to wander, yes, and I couldn't keep the thing going straight. So I'm going to say that I do believe in A. So we're gonna read this again for those who are asking. A customer complains that steering wander occurs while the vehicle is being driven straight ahead. Technician A says that the front wheel bearing adjustments may be loose. Technician B says that the front wheels may have negative caster settings. Who is correct? A only, B only, C both A and B, and D is neither. So I'm definitely going to say that I definitely think that technician A is correct, because I've witnessed that myself.
You've proven that
Yes.
one. So there.
That's okay. Right. Well, that's good. That's good timing. Yep.
Perfect time for that answer. What do we have enough? Everybody. I was gonna say.
A lot of people say both. A lot of people say both, and actually some say neither. Why we
I get
both
Casper and Camber confused. Is Casper the ghost and Camber? I don't remember.
Yeah. So if we've got the front wheels, we're talking about front wheels,
Mm-hmm.
you know, for most of these. So there's the toe, which is toe in, toe out. Like if I'm the car and I'm looking straight at y'all, so toe in, toe out, and then, you know, this is once again the wheels. This is negative camber, and this is positive camber, and then caster is actually like the weird offset on like the suspension angle of the. Do you like this little dance? Caster, camber, toe. I can make a dance.
TikTok.
Okay.
You got your own TikTok right there.
We should make a TikTok. Oh well, good idea.
Yeah.
So but you know, caster is the one that's like a little bit strange because there's like really no adjustment for it. Like a lot of times, if there's excessive caster, well, most vehicles don't have a caster adjustment. Although sometimes you can get some fancy aftermarket control arms, like fancy aftermarket suspension that can have caster adjustment settings. But like a lot of times, the only time I've seen weird casters like after a vehicle's been in an accident. Like, I don't know, like, what do you all think that caster faster?
I think Caster's faster. Is that so?
Could be the tire. Oh yeah, also could be the tire. I mean, that's the thing about ASE is like, you know, you'll read a question, you'll be like, oh my gosh, I know exactly what that is, but they don't give you that as an option even to answer that. So yeah, like I agree, definitely. And another thing I was thinking is like, is this, you know, is it like a crown in the road? I
thought it was an idler arm, but I'm old school. You know, we have idler arms back in the day. Yeah, which that's what that would have done. I would have gone. I was already thinking idler arm, and then
I know what it is. Yeah,
you
know, and all you get is front wheel bearing adjustments, which I'm going to say absolutely, and then front wheels having negative caster. So that's if the wheels are like further behind where their settings should be, and I feel like that's going to give you a. Yeah, I think negative caster. Like if I'm thinking about it, my negative caster.
Got a negative caster dance.
I think it could be both.
A and B.
I don't really know a lot about suspensions. I think it's both. I think it's both.
Describing it, yeah.
Well,
that's
I mean,
great, so.
I think it might have been my moves that were more impressive than my knowledge.
All right, so I think all the answers are in. I see nobody else is answering.
Okay,
but,
all right.
But let's see.
Okay, let's see.
I'm ready. I'm ready.
All right, so this is question 1. C. Mm-hmm. It is both A and B. Steering wander may be caused by loose front wheel bearing adjustments or negative caster settings on the front wheels. Therefore, they're both correct, and C is the correct answer.
And there we go.
There we go.
And I just have to be extremely loose bearings, but like we now know that that has happened.
Oh yes, absolutely. Yeah, I had just my I have terrible suspension geometry on the Rabbit because really all that I did was like jack up the suspension and everything else is the same.
So everything is out of whack now.
Everything is out of whack. Oh yeah, totally.
I like when they look cool, but you hit a bump and they just go all over the place.
Yeah, and it has terrible bump steer, and then it also has terrible like torque steer. You hit the gas, and all of a sudden you're going over there. You're like, all right, well.
You built a circuit track car.
Yeah,
that's what you do in a circuit track car. You hit the gas, and you wanted to go that way.
I mean, I didn't really want to go that way, but yeah, I got a lot of work to do on that car, and the door's falling off. That's all right. Yeah, that's all right. Okay, people. We are gonna do. We're gonna move on to another AC test question. What did you guys think about that question? I think
you're pretty good.
Everyone's pretty stoked.
Faye knows her. She knows her alignments.
All right, for somebody who's never actually. You know what? Weird thing. That's the first one. What are you doing over there, Shop Mom?
Not a thing.
She's out of control. Shop Mom's out of control.
I'm actually innocent this one time.
Huh? All right. Well, I don't know. Well, there's ghosts.
I'm pretty sure.
That was Casper.
Oh.
It's going to be Halloween, and we're going to give you a good heads up. We will have a Halloween party.
Suspension and steering was actually the first ASD that I ever passed because it was the only one that I studied for when I was first going to take up. I'm like, oh, I don't know anything about suspension. I gotta study for this. And then I took brakes and suspension and steering at the same time, and I totally failed brakes. And I passed suspension and steering by like one question. I was like, whoo!
Now we know which question it was.
About Casper, the friendly guard.
Yeah.
So for the next one, I'm gonna do an A8 question. This one you're not gonna be able to find in the book. Actually, this one, this one's actually an official question. You're not supposed to, you're not supposed to reproduce these, but that's all right. We're gonna do it anyways. All right.
Little birdie.
A little, yeah. Yeah, someone just whispered in my ear. I have no idea where this came from. All right, so this is the A8 engine performance. A 6-cylinder engine with a direct injection fuel system has an extended crank time after sitting overnight. There are no DTCs stored. Which of these could be the cause? All right, I'm going to read the question again before I give the potential answers, because I need this to soak in. A 6-cylinder engine with a direct injection fuel system has an extended crank time after sitting overnight. There are no DTCs stored. Which of these could be the cause? A leaking fuel injector. B, a stuck closed throttle body. C, an electrically open fuel control solenoid. Or D, an excessive ethanol fuel percentage.
So you don't get to choose any of all of them.
No,
a leaking
only
injector, a leaking injector, but it's also the pressure regulator. But it didn't say pressure regulator; it said fuel solenoid.
An electrically open fuel control solenoid. Yep.
I don't know enough about direct injection besides they clog up intake ports. I mean,
True.
Yeah,
and you gotta spray them with freaking walnut shells.
Yeah,
Isn't that the weirdest thing?
And then
Well,
I
first
got
time
the
doing
intake
that,
port
being
cleaned
like,
all
what am I
by
doing?
but you need an overhaul because you got walnut shells in your mouth.
Oh please. Actually, they're flammable.
I love what Toyota's doing.
Oh, what is
Can I add
Toyota
a
doing?
little bit?
Yeah,
Toyota is starting to add. You got the 6-injector, 6-cylinder, 4-cylinder, whatever. I think it's a 4-cylinder, and they add some upstream to help clean the port.
Oh,
just a little bit.
Yes,
Just a little
yes,
bit
yes,
upstream.
yes.
Pretty cool. There you
Well,
go.
but they've been doing that for a hot minute though, because I've got an injector upstream as well. Back in the day, our cold start injector.
Well, that's the cold
It
stuff.
doesn't really count. Yeah, I know.
All right, so everybody has A, D, not sure, and C.
All right. Okay.
Okay. Kino bonus is here. I'm going to go with D right off the bat because you said it was.
Excessive ethanol percentage.
No,
Okay.
it's a leak injector. I'm gonna
absolutely.
I'm going to Vegas. That's
I
it.
couldn't guess this one really because I already guessed this one. That's why I printed it off. I'm like, this is gonna be such a good one. But this is actually
This is actually from a bird's eye view.
I have no idea where this question came from.
Yeah.
This is definitely not an official ASC question. Definitely not.
Yeah.
Definitely not. Don't get mad at me, ASC.
Yeah.
So the answer is A, a leaking fuel injector. And actually, what I love about the official ASC questions, it's not an official ASC question.
No.
Yeah. But what I like about
you
them,
heard.
yeah, is that they give a really good explanation. So, all right, a leaking fuel injector would cause fuel pressure to bleed down overnight, resulting in the extended crank time and no stored DTCs. It's not a stuck closed throttle body because a stuck closed throttle body would cause starting issues but would also set DTCs. An electrically open fuel control solenoid could cause an extended crank time but also would set a fuel control solenoid circuit DTC. And then excessive ethanol fuel percentage could cause an extended crank time but would set lean fuel trim DTCs.
So that was the key. They were
Yes,
setting a code.
Exactly.
There
That's
you go.
why I wanted people to really let that one sink in, and that's something that on a lot of cars there's no diagnostic trouble codes for like a fuel injector for a fuel system.
There's no codes for no codes.
Yeah, I know. No, but there's no codes for like a bad injector or a bad fuel pump. You just sort of have to rule out everything else and figure it out for yourself. There's only like the actual code for
Cylinder misfire.
cylinder misfire.
But then you got to determine why it misfired.
Right, the symptoms like lean, rich, or like any other sort of drivability thing. So yeah, it's always tricky when there's no TC.
You got to kind of be, and this is great for. This is an opportunity for tons of new technicians. This is the whole world is there
absolutely.
because you got to be like a doctor. You can't if you go read codes and you get a code and go, O2 sensor, and you run right in and put an O2 sensor in there, and then oh my gosh, now I got another code, and I got to. So you got to start seeing, okay, O2 sensor. What could have caused the O2 sensor to go bad? Because upstream we could have dumped a lot of fuel in it, and that was actually the cause. But cause and result. So
exactly.
you got to look at all of them and going, okay, that could make that go on. So let me hold back on that one. Not to mean that you don't need to replace the O2 sensor, but if you're just a technician,
I feel personally attacked right now because I got an O2 sensor code and I totally just ordered a new O2 sensor.
Because
I have not diagnosed it at all.
But then you're just replacing. I was.
No, I'm gonna test it. But actually, I've gone through like this really weird period of I don't know if I should say that. Okay, so recently I've gone to buy some stuff for my cars and like they've been completely out. So every time that I've thought to myself of like a wear component for any of my cars, I will just like freak out and buy like many of them. So as soon as I got the O2 sensor code, I mean, yeah, I'm gonna diagnose it. I'm like make a video about how to test it and all sort of stuff, and talk about it. I mean, I know like if I do a bad O2 sensor, I have burning little oils. Like I got a whole slew of problems. It's got 308,000 miles on it. But every time that I think to myself that's a wear item, I'm like, I'm buying ignition coils, I am buying spark plugs, I'm buying oil filters, I'm stocking up on oil. I'm like, the shop needs a stock order. I'm like, stock order for all my stuff? Like, I need all this stuff.
And we have discussed this now it's come back to me. We have discussed this a year or so ago, that sometimes the logical thing is, okay, I can spend 2 hours to diagnose a part.
Exactly.
I can ohm it, and the part is $60. Well, 2 hours of labor. So in that regard, once again, you got to kind of be the doctor. You got to kind of just be, what's the smartest thing for this application?
Absolutely. But then when you're doing that, though, you also have to be very careful about making sure that the customer understands what you're doing. Because there are times where I've heard people say to me, oh, this mechanic had no idea what they were doing, and they replaced this, they replaced this, and they replaced this. And I was like, oh, okay. So yes, they absolutely could have been just wasting your money and throwing parts. However, I will say, much like what you just described, there are so many times where I'll just be like, all right, it will take me an hour of my time to diagnose this. That's $120. Or this oxygen sensor is $80. So
and you get a brand new one.
And you get it, and at least you get something out of my diagnostic time. So it's like, but the customer has to understand what's going on. Otherwise, they're going to think that you're just an idiot throwing parts. So
another thing that we've also discussed, customers, you got to kind of wean the ones that don't trust you. It's like you're just like a doctor. Once again, you got to really trust him with your whole, because when he says something, you got to really trust him. A mechanic is the same way, just like a doctor for your car. And your customer needs to know that you're out there doing the best for them.
Yeah.
You get some that all they want is to get over. I mean, all they want is like, it's a drive-through window, and we're going to go ching ching, and then you're done. And they don't understand that this isn't I don't say it isn't a science, it isn't art. I mean, it's you're not always going to hit around with money. An example, a Mercedes 320. The fuel filter has a regulator built in it, right?
Oh.
And a lot of times, that's it. So if you come in I thought of that because of the fuel pressure. When you shut it off overnight, all the fuel runs out because it goes back to the tank. Takes a while. Well, if you do enough of these, you go, guess what? 8 out of 10 times, it's a fuel filter, and it has the regulator built in. It's an expensive son of a biscuits filter. That's why no one ever changes it. But in this regard, have you not changed your filter lately? So that would be the first thing to get before you even get started. But it's all, the more experience you get, but you'll also learn, especially you will get burnt, the young ones that are getting in it, because you want to just do the best you can. You want to help everybody.
Oh, yeah.
And there's some people you can't help.
No, that is so true. I remember like the first time ever getting in trouble at the Toyota dealership was when I was trying to do something right for a customer, and they were so distrusting. It was the absolute dumbest thing was the tire rotation. And you have to, you rotate the tires a certain way. Well, on some of the cars that drive mostly in town, like the Prius, when they drive mostly in town, they're going to be turning sharper turns one way than another way. And so what it ends up doing is like, when you turn into your own lane, it ends up wearing that front passenger side tire so much faster than the rest. So what I would do is I would notice that Prius customers would have to replace their tires earlier because one would wear down more than the others. And so I was just like, what I'm going to do is I'm going to look back in every Prius customer's history, and I'm going to see what their tire rotation schedule was like or how many tire rotations they've had. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to rotate them so that their tires will get the maximum life, and I'll put the one from back here, up there, and I'll just make sure that they're all even. Well, this one guy had gone in and marked all of his tires because he was so distrusting, because there are people in the dealership that didn't rotate the tires at all. They're just like, nope, not worth it. It's not worth the time. You got paid like 0.1 hour to rotate tires, even if it's a Tundra on 133s. And so, I got this Prius. I'm like, I'm gonna do it right. And he came in and he yelled at me, and he like screamed at me, like he was so like, I want to talk to the technician. And I was like, oh yeah, okay, here I am. And he was so mean, and I was like, you had no idea the amount of thought that I put into that, like the energy that I spent, and all I want is for you to not have to buy tires sooner, but I couldn't explain it to him, and he had every right to feel that way because he had totally been screwed over before in the past. So you've got to really battle all those past people, and maybe even before you do what you think is right, you've got to do what's right by the book, to sort of earn their trust, even if it might not be the best for them. Whatever you've got to do to sort of win their trust. But I will say, I almost canceled this live stream today because I've had the crappiest human week ever. And a lot of it had to do with service that I needed on my vehicles or for customers' vehicles. And I have not had a single good experience this week with any technician, any shop owner, or any service advisor. I've had a miserable human week this week. And it just I go home and I get so upset. I'm like, this is what I'm fighting against. Like, there are all these shops out there and all I want is to give them my business and to support them. And I have, and no one recognizes it.
You probably just make a lot of people feel better with sharing that, just because they're like, if this happens to Faye, and knows what's going on, can you imagine? I mean, you're probably not the only one that's had a bad human week.
Oh my God, terrible human week.
Yeah,
terrible human week. I just want to hide in my shop and never come out. I'm like, I will just do that forever.
It may be a 2-drink live stream.
It is.
It is.
How can you tell?
All right.
So, we've already done 2 questions. I'm really impressed with this.
Oh, that was good. I needed that one. That was good. I'm so glad you're impressed with us.
Oh my God.
Y'all are funny.
See, if nothing else, this is like therapy for us.
And it really is. And that's the thing. I'm just like, okay, well, I could just stay and hide underneath my little rock and just stay there. But then I don't know, maybe I won't get any better, and I gotta that's the thing, is that you can't let other humans change who you are, So even when you have that crappy customer, that crappy experience. I was a little bit of a Karen. I actually ended up calling one of the places, and I was just like, I just want you to know how disappointed I was in my service. And they're like, well, can we give you a coupon? Like, can we pay for your stuff? I'm like, no, I will never be back. However, I work in this industry too, and I have had a very long day, and I was explaining to them the amount of work that I had just done in the rain for that customer, and I was like, and you couldn't do a $7 10-minute inspection for me. I was like, all right, there was 3 people working there, no one there. But he was tired, he said. He was tired, he didn't want to work. And I was like, then he should have clocked out and gone home. Because if he's on the clock getting paid, if he was my employee,
that's a good point.
I'm just I changed the wipers, I made sure the lights work, I got all the paperwork ready. You just got, I just got to honk the freaking horn at you. I got to honk the clucking horn, turn on my lights, and that is all you have to do. And I'm just going to give you money and I'm going to leave. It'll be 10 minutes of your life. However, you would not do that for me. So I am going to Karen your employer. And I did.
There we go. And we're not going to mention that right now.
Oh, I love
but
it.
it'll be at the bottom in messages.
Just remember, it's really important that you like you at the end of the day.
That's true.
Doesn't really matter whether anybody else does.
And it can be hard. No, my goodness. All right, well, it's time for our next AAC question. Well, but that's the thing too, is we are all human, and people have bad days as well. People have bad days as well.
All right.
Yeah, so it's important to be kind. It
Definitely.
really is.
Hi, Jay Scott. Well, it's time at this moment to tell everybody hi that we haven't seen. Jay Scott's here. Is Jessica
God,
here?
yes.
I don't know if Jessica's
I haven't
here.
seen Jessica. David
I think she's
Johnson
working
said
right
he
now.
did Venting Friday.
Oh my goodness. Bad human days.
here. We saw Camaro Justin.
Oh, yay.
Aaron's here. It's
Oh.
so good to see
Oh my
everybody.
gosh. Oh,
Yes.
We have so many of the regulars. I really do love you.
Yes, we haven't just acknowledged y'all for
Hi, Tyler. Hi, Daniela.
listening to
Hi,
us
Charles.
vent.
Yeah, and sometimes I have to think to myself, I'm like, you know what? I feel like pretty average intelligence. You know what I mean? I'm doing great. I would consider myself average. Well, that means that half the world is dumber than I am. So it's just you know what? You got to give them the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
I got to give them the benefit of the doubt. And they're just working at an oil change place. But still. If your only job is oil changes and inspections,
And you failed at.
and you can't anyway, all right. So our next question is
Don't
Before
gonna
we
be-
get to the next question,
yes.
I'm here to Shop Mom to tell folks, we're not going to tolerate any rude comments.
Oh, are
if
we
you post
being
a rude
rude?
comment, I will remove it. That's why I'm Shop
That's the
Mom.
first, and the second time she will find you and.
And I will kick your little self out.
I was gonna say something else. I won't.
He will find you. I am going to get our refreshments back for part 2 of this.
Oh,
Awesome
excellent.
stream.
And while we are halfway in between, I will remind everyone of the announcements. So we've got some announcements. So now that we have, oh my God, a lot of you in the room. So we've got some things coming up. So our next live stream is going to be on the 13th of October, and we're going to be announcing our first reading assignment. We're getting back into book club. So if you do not have the books, I'm going to link where to get them in the description below after this is over. But we're going to be starting out with the Smoky Eunuch series again, the Smoky Eunuch trilogy. And so we're going to be starting with the second book. So that's going to be the 13th. So make sure that you have your books with you on the 13th so that you'll be able to actually start your homework assignment when we assign it to you. And then that homework assignment is going to be due on the 29th, our next coming up live stream. Friday, October 29th at 3:30, we will be having another live stream. So I just wanted to like put those on y'all's radars. You can put them on your calendars in case you want to be here with us and all that good stuff. Also, we'll be having another Motor Mythbusters viewing party at High Cider in High Texas, 123 Rocky Road. And I'll be there. And so, come say hi and watch Motor Mythbusters. Thank you. And that is Saturday, October 16th, starting at 7 p.m. And the Motor Mythbusters viewing party, like the actual show itself, will start promptly at 8 o'clock.
It is great. It's outdoors. It's the last time was actually even warmer than here.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. It's all underneath trees. Like I said, it's outdoors. This also gives you an opportunity to be part of the
be
group.
part of the experience.
I think
For sure.
I enjoyed doing it live stream. Like I said, it's silly. It's not anything. I just thought I would put it there just so that y'all can just see.
And enjoy it.
Enjoy it.
And we haven't picked out the episodes we're gonna watch yet, but I think it's gonna be Casino and Trailer Sway. I think are the ones we're gonna be doing. But I'm letting them choose. I just know that they're really excited about Casino. And for those of you that have watched the episodes, I was really stoked to see that my Supra once again made it in to the Trailer Sway episode when I went to decorate the trailer. I showed up in the Supra, and that was really fun.
Join. This is your opportunity if you want to join. Of course, you have a lot of people from all over the place, but if you're around the area, it's a great venue.
Yeah,
it's
if
a
you're
great
local,
venue.
come up. And then also, one last announcement. I have some roosters I'm trying to get rid of. They are free. They are Americanas. They are friendly. They are cute. They are wonderful. However, they crow. So I cannot have them, and I'm really upset about that because
And
I
I should
named
mention
them.
chicken and dumplings. No chicken and dumplings.
No, I mean I just want them to go to a good home because like I raised them and like I love them and like
I was about to say, be a
they're
good home.
cute.
It would be a good home.
No, I know. Like,
Okay.
and that's the thing. Is like, I hand fed them. They're friendly. It's like roosters don't like being chased around, but they don't mind.
I saw the
being
feathers.
held.
We're like
Beautiful.
fluorescent feathers,
I know.
like
Yeah. So
rainbows.
they're Americanas. They've got these really they've got these interesting little combs. One has them flopped over to the side, which I think is adorable. We named him Apollo, Apoyo, and I wish I could keep him. He's so cute. But the neighbors are complaining, so I can't have that. I don't want to get I don't want to get the cops called on or anything like that. But they have the beards. The Americanas. They have little beards, little cheeks. I mean, they're adorable. I just can't keep them. So anyway, if anyone wants roosters, let me know in the comments below. I'll reach out to you, and hopefully we can meet up and I can get these boys off my hands because I can't have them. So anyways, all right. Now that you're back, we are done with the
Yes,
announcements.
we are back. We're also having water because we gotta stay hydrated.
Yeah, that's true.
This is-
We gotta do around here. You gotta do a 1-to-1 ratio at all times, especially in the summer. Thank you. All right. So we're gonna jump into. Should we do another steering and suspension, or should we do an electrical?
I think I'm both of them are awesome for me.
Oh, we're gonna do both then. Which one
we're
first?
gonna do both. Let's do their suspension again.
All right, we're gonna do steering suspension again. All right. So we are going back to the book. So if you have this book, I know Jessica has this book. You can go ahead and turn to page 181. We're doing question 13 in the A4 section, steering and suspension. All right. When performing a shock absorber bounce test, the left side of the front bumper is pushed downwards with considerable weight and then released. The chassis completes one free upward bounce before the vertical chassis movement stops. This action indicates that the A. Coil spring is weak. B. The stabilizer bar is weak. C. The control arm bushings are worn. Or D. The shock absorber is satisfactory. All right, we're going to read that again. When performing a shock absorber bounce test, the left side of the front bumper is pushed downward with considerable weight and then released. This reminds me of the times in the shop when I was actually performing the Jounce test, or actually having to put a weight, and I would jump on. I would jump on it and be like, oh, it's fine. And then I had a much bigger coworker jump on it. They'd be like, these are blown. So this is a considerable weight, people, a considerable weight, and then released. Okay, so when performing a shock absorber bounce test, the left side of the front bumper is pushed downward with considerable weight and then released. The chassis completes one free upward bounce before the vertical chassis movement stops. This indicates that A, the coil spring is weak. B, the stabilizer bar is weak. C, the control arm bushings are worn. Or D, the shock absorber is satisfactory.
I think it's D.
What do you guys
It's
think?
what it's supposed to do.
We got a lot of D's.
A shock is supposed to stop it from just going back and forth, back and forth. Just bring it back and just stabilize it. I wonder why it's only on the left side. Is there a different answer for if they push down on the right side?
I think what they're trying to say is that they're just doing one like they're trying to isolate one suspension
they do
area.
stuff like that just to shake it up a bit. It's just that you have to read the whole thing and think and whatever. But they always do stuff written weird.
I don't know. It's interesting that they said front too, like because as soon as they said front, I instantly thought that it wasn't going to be a shock absorber.
Strut.
I thought it would be a McPherson strut, but
So it must be a 1972 Camaro.
but also still like ASE doesn't refer to the strut like as itself, like it doesn't refer to it as a strut if it's talking about just the shock portion. So even if it's referring to a McPherson style strut, they'll still refer to the spring and the shock as separate portions of that McPherson strut. So that
Okay.
got me too, because that's what I was thinking at first as well, because if we're on the left side of the front bumper, even if that is a McPherson style strut, D is still an acceptable answer because, I mean, the shock absorber, I don't know. That at least that's what I think.
All right.
That's okay. We've got a lot of D's. We've got a lot of D's. Sammy says I'm not a very good ballast. Yeah, Sammy, I'm good at many things. I'm good at many things, but I cannot be good at them all. Okay, Sammy, we just take it easy on me.
You pick and choose your strong points, and
Yeah. Andrew says that he changes his answer to the right one.
Okay, and that's acceptable.
Lack of vitamins. I probably take more vitamins than anyone you know. I mean, that's not true. But I take like, how many vitamins? I think like 13 or 14 vitamins a day I take.
It's very healthy.
No, I have an autoimmune condition. I have celiac, so sometimes if I eat something with a little bit of gluten in it, then my body can't take in any vitamins. So I gotta compensate, I gotta make up for it. Otherwise, I feel crappy. So I'm gonna go with D because that is what it's supposed to do.
That's what I'm thinking. What is the shock supposed to do?
Yep.
It's supposed to just bring it back to
do
stable.
one and then down.
Yes.
That's
if it bounces, the old test was to push down, release, and if it sat there bouncing, you had bad shocks. But that was back in the day, So okay,
Yeah.
well, I would think.
I'm gonna go with D, and that's what everyone else is going with. So I mean,
Yep.
I'm sure it's probably right. So we're gonna go to 13. It's D.
D. All right.
Oh, excellent! Yeah, and
Yep.
to D. So if the chassis completes one free upward bounce before the chassis movement stops and the shock absorber is satisfactory. Sometimes the answers and the explanations in this book are a little lackluster, but that's fine.
This is so much fun because it is the way you read it. It is like you said. The always advice that we give is go as fast. Should say as fast as you can because we should go as you're comfortable as you can. But if you're stumped on something and you just keep going in a circle, stop. Just pass it on because you may miss 5 questions that you knew the answers to, but you never got to them because you spent too much time here. So
Absolutely.
tag it and keep moving on. When
Right.
you're done, come back again. And even if you're coming back again and you still got 5 left, hit them a little bit faster. Don't sit there and just one. Some questions aren't even counted.
That's true.
They'll do
Yep.
some trick questions that there is no answer to. They want to see what answer you get. So it may be something that all the books that you tested or read and studied, it was never there because it's still not there.
Yes,
So-
yes. No, that is so true. So there are, so these questions, these tests are timed. How long the test is depends on which test it is. I think electrical and engine performance is the longest. I think suspension and steering is one of the shorter ones. But you have a time limit. They're all multiple choice questions, and if you don't answer the questions, I mean, they're automatically going to be wrong. And yes, that is so true that not all of them are graded. In fact, a good portion of them aren't graded. I think the last one that I took had 75 questions, and 15 of them weren't graded at all. They were just, they take an average, they see what your score is for the 60 that are counted, and then they use that to help them determine if the questions that they snuck in there for like future questions, because they're trying to update. So the ones that they put in there are for future tests or like to update, and they sort of gauge how good those questions are based on your score. Like, so you answering those sort of helps them shape the
So
test questions.
you may spend a lot of time answering a question that you're never going to get, and you may have got it right. It didn't make a difference.
Yeah.
But you may have not answered questions you did know the answer to. So go at a nice pace and get to reading all the questions. That way you know that you answered the ones that you didn't know. And that may be enough already to pass the test.
No, definitely. I mean, the bar is pretty low, actually, let's be honest. But that, exactly, like you can, time for our next question.
I think we're doing good.
We're doing on time.
I think
I can't believe that. Yeah, 45 minutes, and we're on our last question. Yeah, I mean, we do spend about 15 minutes per question. Like, we talk about them, we tell some life story stuff, we sprinkle some other stuff in there, but really, you're going to want to get through each one of these questions in 30 seconds to 90 seconds, basically. And that's depending on, once again, if it's electrical or, steering suspension. But, one thing to note as well is that, like Danny was saying, you can flag the questions. So as you're going down through every single one of the questions, if there's something that you're not sure about, even if you already answer it and then click next, you can still put a little flag there so that if you answer all the questions you still have time left, then you can go back and revisit those questions that you were sort of struggling.
Now, I have a question. I took my AC test back when, it was back in the day, and there was a scroll, and then I think you had to chisel the answers. I don't remember exactly, but that was a long time ago. So, maybe in a real big pencil, I don't remember, but did they even use pencils, or is it all
it's
on
on
the screen
computer.
now?
Yeah, it's on the computer. But you can, but they give you a piece of scratch paper and a pencil. Okay. Now, what I do,
to tag the question, how do you tag it in that instance that it's on a computer?
At the very bottom of the screen, there's a little flag button. Yeah, so you can flag it. Also, if you do not speak Spanish, do not make the mistake of hitting the glossaria. How do you say it in Spanish?
Glossaria? I don't know what that means.
Yeah.
Gracias?
Yeah, I don't know. You make a mistake. One time, I hit the wrong button and everything was in Spanish, and I was like, well, there's no going back now.
Oh, really?
I couldn't speak Spanish. I can't figure out how to get back. That was really stressful. So I had to have somebody help me. That took a lot of time.
Another good tip from watching these live streams.
Anything.
Yes.
Only click buttons you know.
Yes. If the word just sounds cool, but you don't know it, just...
I was like, maybe glossary is a little bit of help, Glossary. Oh, thank you, Fungal Spore. Hello.
We got 200 for that. But so if you don't know the word, don't click on it.
But then also, something that's really cool that I've been testing out now for almost a year. I've been doing this is after you pass your ASEs, you do have to take those at a testing center. It's just a little stressful, you get put in this little cubicle area, and you got to put your little headphones on, you can't say anything, and you're patted down to make sure you've got they magic wand you. Just kidding, it's a metal detector. Make sure you don't have any.
So you don't have the iPhone with you.
No, exactly. Yeah, you got to put everything in the locker. But after you pass the actual test. Then you can renew your certifications with the ASE app. I think it's just the ASE test app. I don't know. The ASE renewal app. That's what it is. I knew it was something aside from just ASE. And they ask you one question a month for every test. And if you answer, I think it's only 8 out of the 12 months. If you answer 8 correctly, then that extends your certification for a year. Now, I bought the app at the end of last year because my steering and suspension was about to expire, because they only last for 5-6 years, something like that. I can't remember how many years they last, but
yes,
not many years that they last. So in order to keep them current, I didn't want to have to go through all this hassle again of studying.
You don't want to lose your certificate and start over.
No, I don't want to have to. So I did the app, and it's actually kind of cool because it sort of keeps me in that ASC mentality of just lifelong learning. Always keeping up to date. So far so good. My favorite part about the ASC renewal app is the comment section.
Did you get to read?
Yeah. After you answer the question, then you can leave comments. I love reading the comment section because you can tell when someone got the question wrong and they're all pissed off, and they just but also there have been times where I have gotten the questions wrong, and then I'll read through and it'll be people will sort of shed light on it, and I love that because people say, okay, this question is really you only see in GM. It's been kind of validating for me a couple times where I've seen Toyota technicians in the comments being like, well, Toyota don't do this at all. And I had to research this after the fact, and this is a Chevy only issue or a Ford only issue, and I'm like, that just reminds me, I'm stuck in my little hole, and it's really good for me to sort of study other things that are happening outside of my world. So. Fungal Spore says lifelong learning. Amen. Yes, absolutely. I mean, we have to because things are always. Oh, someone's correcting me. It's glossario. Yeah, that's exactly what the word was.
Glosario, all right.
I clicked on it.
I come from San Antonio. We don't use that word.
No.
We're, more Tex-Mex
I
words.
needed help with that one. And actually, the last test that I took, which was only like less than a month ago, I think, still, they had changed a lot of things around where they were actually, I think they made it even easier, because then, like in that test, that was A3, the last one they did, manual transmissions and transaxles, and they had diagrams. I had never had diagrams before, but they have a new section now where you can click on it and you can see a diagram with like everything labeled and like the names given to you. I was like, whoa! Yeah, so I feel like I got a couple questions right just because of that diagram. I'm like, huh.
A lot of the stuff is studying for it is teaching you stuff. Like you say,
Yes.
oh, I didn't know that.
Yes.
So just studying for the ASC test makes you a better technician.
I think so. I learned a ton.
It could,
studying.
or it could, if you just don't have the right attitude. You just gotta have the right attitude. Like you said, we learn every day. What's our if you're done learning,
Always in training.
Always in training.
Yep.
My in training button.
You got it right there.
Walked off my baby one, but my
Your
custom
massive one. Oh
my massive one.
no. Where did it go? Okay, well that's fine.
Well, that's okay.
Well, I have an idea where it went, but the granddaughter that I think absconded with it has denied
Her
such
two-
culpability.
Her two favorite people, Faye and Grandpa. And Shop Mom, of course, but she's not on it.
Someone
so
might have walked off.
It might have
Yes, not to question her about it, but
Okay, well, someone might. Okay, well, it might be missing in action due to a certain.
I'm going to make another one. It was a custom one I made. But
Lily,
anyway.
maybe.
Yes.
yes, maybe.
Obviously, it's a popular button.
Yeah, I mean, it is a popular button. Well, we need to produce them again.
By the way, we have granddaughter Sarah in the room today.
We do? Oh,
Yes.
hello,
Sarah.
granddaughter Sarah. I mean, you're not my granddaughter, but you're one of the.
But she's granddaughter, Sarah.
Yeah, she's granddaughter Sarah. All right, so this one might be a little bit trickier. We've got A6 electrical. This is another one actually. This may or may not be official. So
And
you're
I'm
not
sorry,
supposed to
but-
produce this. What's
I'm
it?
sorry, Sarah is speaking in Spanish or
Oh.
writing in Spanish. So
Well, then she's helping me out with my glossario.
yes, but we don't know what glosario means.
That was the worst.
That can help. And I think Charles Whitman said that that's not in Spain. They don't have that word either. So in San Antonio or in Spain, we don't use that word. But AAC uses it. If anybody knows the definition.
No,
to it.
I think it was like a testing center thing. I don't know. I think I have no idea. I have no
Okay.
idea. All right, so this is one from A6 Automotive Electrical Systems.
Awesome.
And one thing that I've noticed from this one is that A6 is heavily dependent on electrical wiring diagrams. So if you're going to be studying for A6, if you're planning on taking A6, make sure that you know what. Oh God, what's happening back there?
I'm
Stop.
sorry. Sarah was saying that her grandpa could speak Spanish, and she says, se olvida porque es viejo. He forgets because he's old.
Rude! Oh my goodness. Speaking of old, my birthday's in a week.
Yes, we won't forget that.
Yeah, don't forget that. I do not believe everything you read on the internet. Every page ever that says my birthday is wrong. It is a week from today. It is the 24th, people, not the 25th.
You heard it here first. You may not
The
heard it
24th.
first, but you think you heard it here first.
Jeez!
There you go.
I'm like, they don't. These people that write articles on me, they don't even reach out and ask me questions.
Is it a week from today?
Yeah.
Are we doing a stream?
Friday. No, we're not doing a stream. I got stuff to do.
You have to-
Actually, I've got
Okay,
tons.
my
I got a
birthday
ton
stream.
of customers. I got customers. I have so much work to do on my birthday, and I gotta finish it in time because Brandon wants to take me out for dinner. So I don't know how I'm gonna do that.
Okay.
I got a crazy amount of work to do. I don't even want to think about it. I'm not gonna think about it. All right.
All right, electrical.
Electrical.
And you can't put the smoke back in. Remember that.
No.
No.
That was an old Honda joke from like back in the day. It's like, you know, when a Honda like is smoking, it's like, oh, you let the magic out. You took the cylinder head off. I don't. Never mind. All right. Okay. So an engine stalled while traveling at highway speed and will not restart. During testing with the ignition in the start position, the technician observes that the starter clicks and the lights dim. The battery is tested and is good. Which of these could be the cause? Ready?
Yep. Tighten that battery cable.
A, internal engine damage. B, a loose starter solenoid wire. C, a failed fuel pump. Or D, low alternator output. Now I'm not going to guess because I already guessed this question and I guessed it right. But
Let's
I
see
will
those
say
answers, guys. Come on.
that the
Come on, that's
comment section of this one was on fire. Like, people were upset about this question. There was a lot going on, and that's the thing too. I see a lot of people putting their own answers. You cannot do that in ASE. I mean, you pretty much are at the mercy of them. And yeah, like we all have our own ideas of what it could be. However, you can't pick what you think it is. You've got to pick what they think it is. So we're gonna go through this again. I'm gonna read it again. I need you to pay a ton of attention to this question. All right. An engine stalled while traveling at highway speed and will not restart. During testing with the ignition switch in the start position, the technician observes that the starter clicks and the lights dim.
RC says starter wire.
The battery is tested and is good. Which of these could be the cause? All right, an engine stalled while driving at highway speed and will not restart.
Oh my God.
During testing with the ignition switch in the start position, the technician observes the starter clicks and the lights dim. The battery is tested and is good.
Click, click, click.
Which of these could be the cause? A, internal engine damage. B, a loose starter solenoid wire. C, a failed fuel pump. D, low alternator output.
Now, Aaron, you should have got it right because of your own icon. Your you know, is that a called an icon? What are those called again?
What's that? Oh.
Everybody's little symbol. They're not icons, whatever they are.
Oh, his just is an A. It means he doesn't have one. It's just his name. Yeah.
It's an A.
Mm-hmm.
You should have got it right.
You're guessing A?
Oh, come on. I think it could be.
Oh!
Come on.
Alright, so Danny's guessing
Now,
A.
I'm going on a limb there with easy cheesy and all that, and I'm going to get hammered like,
Alright, well,
bam.
why are you guessing A, Danny? Why are you guessing A?
Why? Because when the voltage is okay and you click the click and you hear a click, we know it's not the solenoid wire because you wouldn't hear a click. Boom. Then we know it's not alternating.
Right.
Oh.
So, you don't think that the connections inside might just be like corroded and there's excessive voltage drop in there? And
Well,
it's
that's not
clicking,
that's not one of the options. The options are a loose solenoid wire,
he's
which
right.
means that the connection is happening, and we're hearing a click, but the starter can't engage. But we already know that it has voltage, so we know it's not low voltage. So forget the alternator. We already know it has voltage. We don't need an alternator to start a car.
Yeah, because the battery tested good.
Yes. So we
Battery
know.
tested
So what
good.
could that be? A locked up engine. All the lights dim because click, 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 and you can't turn the starter. It could be also a bad starter, which I was thinking, but it didn't give that an option. So to
Well,
me,
no. How could it be a bad starter? Because it stalled while traveling at highway speed. So something.
Oh, look at that! Look at that!
Well, so I mean, it also.
Yes, stall while going. It's done.
Yep.
Done.
Yep.
Done.
Yep.
Done. I'm ready to
So the
drink.
starter has nothing to do with it.
No.
I mean,
That's true.
Because it's already
the
started.
starter could have fallen off and it would still be driving.
Yeah.
You're right. Good one.
We gotta pay attention. Okay.
Anybody go out there?
Engine unicorns. Brian says a loose wire will cause voltage drop. Oh yeah, I experienced that today when I was winching things. I was winching things around and my battery cable was loose. I was just too lazy to tighten it.
I'm
But
just,
I
I'm
tightened
just,
it.
you know, I've already had. This is my second beer, so I'm just going out there.
So that means he'll be asleep at 8:30.
I wish that the amount of beverages equal the time I went to sleep. I have found that it has the opposite effect.
Oh,
The
really?
more, the later. Yes.
You're young. You're young.
Well. All right. So,
All right.
no, the answer is A, internal engine damage.
It is.
It is. Yeah. Okay. Good job.
All right.
All right. Here's
Y'all
the
that,
reason
y'all that hit A, you can take a drink.
Yeah.
And everybody else better take a drink because you got it
And
right.
everyone else take a drink too. Okay, I will too. What are you drinking again?
Miller Lite.
Oh, fantastic.
I'm drinking, you know,
He's drinking flavored water.
I'm drinking flavored water. Everybody makes fun of me because I drink Miller Lite.
I've got this. I've got bourbon peach today. Oh, this is no joke. This is like 8%.
That's some real McCoy stuff.
Ah, yeah, this is good. All right. So internal engine damage. A seized engine would cause this concern. When attempting to start a seized engine, a higher than normal starter motor current load would cause the lights to dim. It is not B, a loose starter a solenoid wire, because that would result in a no crank condition, but not cause the engine to stall. A failed fuel pump would result in a stall, but the engine would still crank. Low alternator output. If the alternator output were low, the battery state of charge would not be good when tested. And you know that's that's something that I saw the most people upset in the comments about. Was they did not specify more about the battery. I saw a lot of people like leaving comments on this question because a lot of people say, well, in order to have the battery tested, in order to have the battery checked, like it had to be at a full state of charge in order to test it. So that's sort of how they determined that it was not
and you did bring up a good point. I kind of assumed it real quick and jumped forward there a little bit, but I never even thought of the logic that went in on the starter part, because yes, it died while it was running.
Yes.
I was just going by the results, but I did kind of just jump out there. It wasn't that anyway, but I didn't even use that as logic to eliminate that.
You're
I didn't
right.
Even, yes.
Yeah, and that's the thing is like you really have to focus on only what ASE says. You cannot assume anything that they didn't say.
And using the logic of the things you do know will get you the answer, even though you didn't know the answer.
Mm-hmm.
But just hitting every one of the things individually, logically, could just make it do it. You would have come up with the same answer.
Right.
So there's many ways. Anyway.
Right. So a lot of people said, well, in order to test the battery, they've got to put it on a diagnostic charge first. So they're assuming that the battery is good, but the alternator isn't good. And it's like, well, no, it died on the side of the road. They're testing it. The battery's good right there. I mean, we're not.
It was a key to reading the like I said, sometimes you got to read it more than once.
Yep.
And the key is reading exactly how it happened.
Oh my God! Is this the first time we've ever been on time ever?
We finished all.
Is that an hour and we actually got through all 4 questions? Oh my gosh! All right. One thing that I forgot to ask Shop Mom is, Shop Mom, do we have any emails or voicemails that we would like to read, or are they all personal?
Yeah, we're not going to, nothing we're going to share with everybody, but we do want to lift up some of our regular folks who are in here who've had a couple of rough days.
Oh.
Keep your chin up, Brian. It's okay.
Yeah, you know, like let's talk about this, because I feel like there's something going on in the universe right now. And I recently made a TikTok about this because I've had like a really rough people week, and you know, people and anything can get you down. And I cannot tell you how many times people will reach out to me and you know think that I'm being fake, or like how can you always be so happy all the time? And it's like, well, you know, how is this even possible? And it's like, all right, well, first of all, whatever you see on the internet, that's what people choose to share with the world, you know. And a lot of people don't choose to share like the negative stuff because you don't want to put out those negative vibes. We're all human, but at the same time, it's like, you know, I strongly believe that happiness and a positive attitude is a choice. And if we let ourselves, even if deserving, like there are some times this week where I just wanted to sit in my own crap and wallow in it. I just wanted to be on the crap ship, and I wanted to sit there and I wanted to hang out there. And you know, if I made that choice, I would be deserving because of the ship that has been that has happened this week. And it sounds like you've got some similar stuff just from stuff that's happened in the shop. It's like we deserve to feel that way based on things that have happened to us this week. However, what will that do? That will make sure that those people that are negative, that they have power over us, right? And I like to be, I'm a bit of a control freak. I like to be in control of myself and my own destiny and what happens. So like giving into that negative vibration that someone else is putting out, that lowers me to their level. So a lot of times if I have a bad human week or like a bad human interaction, I gotta sort of take a step back and, you know, sort of assess the situation. Why did it happen? That person's human. Hey, that person had a rough week. That person had a rough day. I did too. That's all right. You know, some people aren't as good as coping as others. Some people are much better at coping than I am.
And a lot of people go on social media to look at somebody else's perfect life, how happy they are, all that, and then they're bummed, but yet they can't help it to always come back and looking at. And the reality is, there is no perfect, or there is, but it's what you make of it.
It's what,
today I want to throw myself on the sword, you know.
All right.
I snapped at Shop Mom today, and
didn't.
No, he didn't snap at Shop Mom. He yelled at me. He yelled at me.
All right, let's
anybody
talk about
who knows me, Sarah, everybody who knows me knows that that's not in my nature. I was stressed. It's no excuse. There's no excuse. There was customers in here, which made it even worse. But I had already, when you try to help somebody, and you know me, the reason that we do this and we actually get joy out of it, because we do like sharing our experiences and helping other younger technicians. So a younger technician that I've been helping, all of a sudden to get to the point, and I told you the story about, Mickey, taking off his apron and go, yes, my son, it's time for you to move on. You've learned everything you can learn from here.
I love that line.
When the student knows more than the teacher,
that was a good one.
It is time for the student to move on and find another teacher.
I just want to take a minute before I forget.
Mm-hmm.
Sarah has pointed out that it's Mercury retrograde. So we got some alignment in the universe going on.
Mm-hmm.
We got some energy transfers going on.
We got some moon wobble going on, people.
We got some moon wobble going on.
And it was just a moment of stress, and that I had already determined that I am no longer, when I make that it's time for you to move on, you've learned everything from me. When you start, not only, I don't mind being questioned or that, because that gives you an opportunity to teach more.
Exactly.
Oh, this is why you're questioning that. In fact, like my uncle would do, that if you didn't ask me the question, because I just told you to do something that was so stupid that you shouldn't have done it, but you did it, and it's like, no, but so
right, you don't want to follow blindly.
Yes, but when it's the point where now you're questioning, because now all of a sudden you're so much smarter than whatever, and I was like, it's time for you to move on. It's time for you to go. So there was that question, and it keeps all over and over again, asking over and again, and I was like, it's getting tiring, and I was tired of dealing with that anymore. Shama mentioned that I still have to answer a question for this person, and I just said, I'm done. I'm done.
Oh my God, I can relate to this so much, actually. So earlier this week, I was so hungry, and I'm just like, you know what, I'm just gonna pop in the grocery store real quick. I'm gonna pop in the grocery store, and it was like 3 o'clock. I hadn't eaten anything, and I was at the point where I was like hangry, and I was just walking to HEB, and I just got to check on my Supra. As some of you know that I was hit by a drunk driver, and the back of my Supra was completely destroyed. And I was just at the body shop. I was checking on my Supra, and it's made me a little sad. Made me a little sad. It is not getting fixed as quickly as I would like it to, but I know what it's like. I don't want to stress out anyone. So I just went and checked on it. I picked up some parts. I dropped off some parts, and I was like, it's gonna be a while till I get it back. No big deal. No big deal. Was I disappointed? Yes. So I left there. I was disappointed. Seeing it again, I was like close to tears, and I was hungry. It was like 3 o'clock. I was like, ugh. All right, no big deal.
I hate to interrupt, but we just have to tell people, no politics, folks. I don't care what you think about anybody.
Nope.
If you start posting comments about any past, future, or current president, I'm going to take it off.
Yeah. We do not do politics here.
This is a safe place.
We don't do politics. We don't do current events. We don't do any issues that are offensive to anyone, because this is where we come to escape. Like, we feel very strongly about these things in our own lives, and we have
opinions. Personally, to talk to us is what we do, but this is not the platform.
Talk to us in real life.
We want
but we don't want to isolate. I mean, no matter what it is, we're gonna isolate some of y'all by how any of us feel.
And that's not fair.
And we don't want to do that. We don't want to do that. We want to come here and talk about car stuff, and we're just talking about stress right now. So we're talking about stress because it happens. So I went into HEB, and I heard someone. I parked my my totally crappy Toyota 4Runner. I love it, and I'm walking into HEB, and I hear someone yelling at me in the parking lot, and I'm like, oh no. So I run in and I go hide in the shopping carts. Well, I was found, and someone is like, oh Faye, can I get a picture with you? I'm like, sure. You're not asking me any questions about my life. You're not saying I'm a huge fan. You're not saying anything positive. You're just saying I want a selfie. And I'm like, sure. Took a selfie with the guy, and he left. I was like, that's all you wanted? That's weird. It's like, one of my favorite people in the world is my friend Kelsey, who's normally here in the chats, because she has many people that she idolizes and worships, that are celebrities or famous people. And she has never gotten a picture with any of them, because when she has a chance to meet them, she wants to know something about them that she's been curious about. And so she will take that time, not to snap a selfie, but to ask them something that's like pressing or something meaningful about their lives. I've never had this happen to me. People come up and all they want is a picture, and then they leave. And I'm like, all right, what was your name? Do you know me? Like, how do you know me? Did you watch my YouTube channel? Can I thank you for being a subscriber? Nope. Selfie and you're gone. I'm like, all right, that's cool. So I had that happen once. Then I had that happen twice. In HEB, I'm just trying to get stuff. And then a third time, I'm walking down the aisle, and I hear, selfie, 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 selfie. And I'm like, you're not saying hello? You're not saying, hi, Faye, this is my name. I love your show, or love your YouTube channel, or whatever. It's just selfie. And I turned around and I said, do you think there's any chance that I can just buy groceries today, like a normal person? And he was like, after you get a selfie with me. And I'm like, not gonna happen. And I was really upset, And it's like, all right, that was my one chance to make a good impression on someone who probably was a fan. And now that person's only thought about me is that, you know, I'm a clucking ship. And I don't want to be a clucking ship. But at that point, I was just dying for something meaningful, some meaningful human interaction, because all that I got was surface level.
You were having a bad human week anyway.
I was already having a bad human week. And then I was honest with this person. I said, you know what, all I want right now is just to buy groceries like a normal person. And when I was vulnerable and told him how I actually felt, he was a clucking ship as well. So I'm like, all right, that's fine. I'm like, all right, this is how it is. And do I feel regrets? I feel tons of regrets, because I would have loved to go back in time, like, you know, after a couple of beverages and like all sort of, you know, happy again, and just been like, you know what, dude, yeah, let's get a selfie. But instead, I was just like, no.
And so there's
because like I just wanted someone to respect me as a person.
And there's reality. So that's what kind of is the kind of thing we're gonna end it with or whatever. It's that, don't think because we're on this, oh, you're so, we're human. We're human too. Like I said, I snapped it, or even not snapped, yelled. And it's not my nature.
I know, I was
be
mean
there.
to a random stranger at the grocery store.
So, but
That's awful.
all that is just
I feel
just
so
that,
bad.
you know, everybody has bad days. So we try to just kind of share some fun times.
But how do you combat that? So like, it's something I talked about on TikTok, but I haven't talked about anywhere else. It's like when I have a bad human day, in that moment, like I'm so ashamed about the way that I reacted, because I don't want other people to like affect how I am, like my natural self, and I did, and that was like a moment of weakness for me. So I went home and I was like, well, what can I do to counterbalance that? So I was like, I need to do a good deed for someone else, and I had to put that positive energy back in and remind myself of who I was, so that I could, you know, sort of like recalibrate myself. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But it's like, you know, my friend Rose taught me about spoon theory, and she said it's like, you know, you start the day with so many spoons, and when you're out, you know, you're out, and you have so many, and every time someone wants something from you, as small as it may seem, it's like, you know, you give them a spoon. And I wish I had 5 million spoons and I could give them out, but I'm not. I'm actually an introvert in real life. I have very few spoons, so when I'm out in public, you know, I wish I could give out 1 million, and I may only have 3 or 4, you know.
And I think
when they're gone, they're gone.
I think that's a good point. That we can blame other people for what happened.
No.
But like, you know, the calls over and over and that doesn't give me an excuse for what I did.
No.
So we got to own what we did. You know, I got to own. You know, like I said, you know, I'm gonna look to see if we can find some great dinner for Shop Mom tonight. But yeah, so that's a real big point. What everybody else does to you, what you do is what you're responsible for.
So
yeah.
Right. Let's end on that positive note of just like, yes, taking full responsibility for our own actions. And then also, like, you know, my response to that, I actually called up my friend Kelsey, or I texted her and I said, you know, Kelsey, I'm really ashamed of the way that I just acted in the grocery store. I was so hungry, like, I was so sad because I just saw my Supra and it was, you know, still in pieces, and you know, like, all this stuff was negative, and that, you know, and that was no excuse. And I said, you know, it reminded me of how you act when you see people that you love or that you respect in public. And I was like, I wish people were like that, but they're not. So what can I do? And she was solution oriented. You know, I loved how she responded. She's like, well, you know what you need is just some good canned responses. I'm just like, oh my gosh, you know, so glad to meet you. However, it'd be really great if I could, you know, and keep it positive. So I love the idea of being solution oriented so that I stay in control, because we are in control. We're not victims of our circumstances. We are victors of our circumstances. We've got to be the ones to overcome that and to choose it. So how do you, in a situation where, you know, you're sort of feeling like you're getting overtaken by humans, or just like bad things are happening, you're feeling the bad vibes, like how do you lift yourself out and recalibrate yourself?
Good question.
Do you have an answer for that?
No.
Shoot.
It's good. I mean, it's, you gotta just.
I do.
You do? Okay.
I do. And so I got a few songs that I play. Once again, it's hard in the moment. I gotta take a step back. I gotta be alone, and I've gotta like sort of recalibrate. So there's a few songs that I play that are positive and that really reset me. One of them is "Simple Man" by Leonard Skinner. You know, like some of you know who know me personally. It's my favorite song, and it's just like it always recalibrates me. I got a few more, but I'm not gonna share them all. And then another thing is, it's just like taking time to pray. You know, getting alone and just recentering to whomever you believe in, and just sort of like remembering why I'm here. I'm not here to be on this earth just sort of like get through the day and have as little human interaction as possible. Like, I feel like I was placed in the position that I am for a reason, and people, for whatever reason, like those people respected me or were excited to see me for something. I'm hoping that I had a positive influence in their life. So I've got to sort of like get to that quiet place, reset, and be like, all right.
It's like a battery. You got to recharge.
Yes,
you got to recharge, because if
absolutely.
you're weak, you're
right.
Yes.
And that's another thing. And then also self-care. And as stupid as that sounds, it's like, all right, so I know what I need when I'm off, and a lot of times I need exercise, I need good sleep, I need some time alone, some quiet time for prayer, and then lastly, it's like doing a good deed, like a conscious good deed, like something that is like, it takes time out of my day, it takes energy and effort. So that's what I did. I actually went home, and I wrote a letter to actually Capri Tools. I said, I know this technician that really needs some tools. Is there any way that can I do like a free social media post, or can I promote your stuff? If you would just please donate some of these tools to this up and coming technician who needs them. And they said absolutely yes. And so I got the tools, and I inscribed like positive message of like an uplifting message in these tools to her, and I mailed them out, and I was like, you know what? That's all I needed. So it's like, those are my ways. Like, I got my playlist. Yeah, resetting. I got my playlist, I got my prayer, and I got my good deeds, and that sort of helps me. But those aren't things I can do in the moment necessarily. It's like, if I'm in HEB and I'm like halfway down the produce aisle, I mean, I'm not just gonna like duck in and be like, all right, I gotta listen to songs right now. Sorry, people.
Even though you got some cool head, you got some good.
Oh no, they're awesome.
And now you're gonna have them, and no one can see them, and you can be like, you can be smiling. Selfie.
Yeah, let's take a selfie. I'm just gonna listen to Simple Man, all right?
But also remember, no matter how bad it is, there's always somebody who's got it worse.
That's true.
Always.
That's true. And just because someone has it worse, they might not even know they have it worse.
Yeah.
They might even be
There's people
more
who have nothing, so happy.
upbeat and positive than we are.
Yes, yes. Good point. Good point.
So it's always good to reset. Thank you, Shop Mom. Shop Mom, what do you do when you're in a funk and you just sort of get yourself out of it?
Fortunately, I came from the factory with a fairly good disposition.
That's true. That's true.
So
Shop Mom is like unbreakable.
How
though?
I do tend to get irritated when people don't, conform to what we're doing here. But for the most part, I don't worry about little stuff anymore. At a certain point in life, you just figure out that it's a waste of energy to concentrate on stuff that's negative and is going to impact you negatively.
Yeah.
So just let it go.
I will say also that that Shop Mom has been through a lot of adversity, and because of that, she really appreciates when things are not just good, but like even okay. Shop Mom has been through probably like one of the worst childhoods I've ever heard story-wise, but she holds no grudges and she holds no anger, and I think that the way that she's coped with that has made her appreciate even the crappiest day. Like even like to me, if it's the crappiest day ever, but like to her it's decent because she knows what bad can really feel like.
I saw Sarah's comment, and we joke about it in the family when a shop mom gets her reset is getting in the kitchen and cooking.
Oh,
and I have a joke.
Her creative outlet.
Yes, because when she gets mad or gets angry, or whatever, she gets in the kitchen and cooks.
Oh, I love that.
And I would say,
yeah.
So I'm responsible for all I gotta do is get grandma mad, and we're gonna have a meal.
Well, I mean, and the thing is, like, I normally am the most productive, and also like if I'm mad, I will have the best day in the gym. I will pedal the longest. I will lift the most weights, So sometimes, I think I told you, I used to read my YouTube comments when I was at the gym, because that's when I would, people would leave negative things, and I would just, I would pedal so hard, I would burn the most calories, that day. I would lift the most weights. I would get the most strong, the most results.
Yes.
Okay, Terry had the very best comment ever. Terry's answer is, Shop Mom thinks of her baby brother.
Oh! Okay, Terry. You're biased.
Yeah, because he's a baby. That's why he would think that.
And we want to. We could go through the whole.
Yeah.
If you knew what Shop Mom has gone through, and yet it's so you never know, and it doesn't dwell on her. It's not like you don't know, but in the background, she's totally screwed up mentally. No, she's just so understanding. Like she just knows the cosmos. She knows when you do something bad to her, she goes, well, they're having a bad. They know what. In other words, she just.
Okay.
Understands
enough job, Mom.
She,
All right.
she feels uncomfortable when we talk about her.
No,
so.
I just think that the fact of the matter is we all have good sides, we all have good days, we all have bad sides, we all have bad days. The point of this particular group that we started the pandemic is really just to be able to come here, lay down some burdens, have a good time with folks who think like we do, and if they don't think like we do, they keep it to themselves because they're going to get booed. But the reality of it is we really all have to stop being so egocentric. We gotta start thinking about other people. We need to be kind.
Definitely.
You know,
definitely.
take a minute to think about somebody else, folks. It'll make your day better.
No, I mean, like honestly, like, doing good deeds for others like turns me around so much. Like it sounds dumb, but like it really does.
Your thing when you say good deeds is it's like we don't edify each other. We don't pick each other up. It's a different society now. We don't get into any of that except that if we learn anything, we don't pick each other up. We don't, it's almost like, and I guess social media has a lot to do with that because people sit behind a computer and it's easy to rag on something.
Anonymity makes people very
proud. And it's just as easy to type thumbs up or hit that thumbs up or say nice work or something, but for whatever reason, that doesn't happen as much as I don't like that. I do whatever. But even forget social media, just for whatever reason, what's going on right now. We don't edify each other. We don't pick each other up. Yeah. And there's just actually more joy in edifying somebody. But back in the day, it was, what do you learn? If you don't have nothing good to say, don't say nothing at all. And I guess it's really the truth. But we don't edify each other. We don't pick each other up. You don't have to be like me at all, and I can still have an encouraging word for you. Man,
yeah. And I sorry, I saw one of Brian's comments, and I gotta say, like, when you do a good deed for others, you don't do it because you expect something back in return.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, because
when you lend somebody money, don't expect to get it back.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. No, and here's the thing: is that like the day that I was met with that completely rude, disrespectful, like miserable human being that would not take 10 minutes to perform that inspection, I had just fixed someone's car for free, mind you, on the side of the road. In pouring down rain, and it was a much bigger job than I anticipated. And it cost me hours of my life I'll never get back. And I went there thinking it was one small thing, and it ended up being so much. Like we're talking distributor rebuild, timing belt, water pump. Like we're talking like the timing belt stretched. I thought it was just like a simple recalibration of the distributor. If I could just ignition timing, no big deal. And this woman did not have money to pay for it. And I'm just like, okay, well, we're just going to do this because you need your car. And my heart feels kind of big today. And that was a lot of, that's money and time. And I'm just like, that's all right. It'll come back. And then I sort of had that mentality. And then when I went to get this inspection, once again, not for me, a favor for someone. I'm trying to do a favor for someone else. Like no one's paying me anything for this. I'm paying $7 for someone else. And this guy would not take 10 minutes and just make sure my headlights worked and the wipers were okay and my horn blew. Not even mine, someone else's. And I'm like, wow, and I felt sorry for myself. At that moment I felt like a little bit of a victim. And it's like you can't get yourself in that position. You cannot get into victim mentality because things do not happen to you. The world happens to all of us. It's not you personally. You can't take anything personally. You cannot let other people or the world affect who you are inside because then they win. And so what does that make you weak? Kinda, I felt weak.
So go out this weekend and tell somebody they did something good. And see what happens.
Don't lie and tell them they did something good. Wait until you actually see somebody do something.
No, that's
good.
true. That's true.
See, that's how Mom. Because I was thinking, just give somebody a heads up, just something. I've never seen a kid push that many shopping carts back into the stall. You're doing a good job, man. That's nice.
You know what? I gotta give props to my UPS driver yesterday. I cannot tell you. I've had so much crap dropped off the top of my shop. So there's this really steep hill down to my shop, and people love to leave stuff at the top. I had a UPS delivery guy yesterday. He had 3 packages. He didn't leave. He could have left them at the top of the hill. The hill sucks. It is so steep. He walks these massive packages all the way down. And I was so surprised to see him. I was like, what are you doing here? I'm like, why you walk all the way down? Like, it's steep. People are afraid of the drive down to the shop. And he was like, oh, well, I mean, it said the shop name, so I figured it was the shop down here rather than the top of the driveway. And I was like, you know what, dude, you are amazing. I'm so grateful that you took the time to like actually go above and beyond. He's like, oh, it's just my job. I'm like, it is not just your job. Like that, you know, you did a really good job.
When you bring up the UPS guy, the oddest thing is people walk in and you get them by surprise. Hey, how are you doing?
Oh, thank
Need
you,
some
Hurton.
cold water?
Oh my God. Hi. Oh.
Hurton?
Oh.
And we've missed Hurton.
We have missed Hurton. Is this the first time we've seen Hurton in a hot minute?
It's been
a while.
For a little bit here, but yeah, it's been a while. And just since we're on that subject, real quick, folks, we will be doing this again on October 13th.
Oh yes, thank you so much. Yep, thank you so much. We should
recap.
Yeah, we should recap. So we'll recap on our announcements. Our announcements are the following: get your books, Danny. Will you please? Get your books if you're interested in joining our Automotive Book Club Live. We will be starting with the second book. We've already finished the first book, so go back and read if you're interested, or go back and watch, I'm sorry. If you get the trilogy, you get a little bit of a discount. We're going to be starting with the second book of the trilogy, the Smoky Eunuch series. And we are going to be giving you your first homework assignment, your first reading assignment for our Automotive Book Club on the 13th of October. So go ahead, buy the book if you want to be a part of it. And Danny's going to tell you where to get the book.
Yes, go to Carbon Press. You're going to go to Carbon Press online. It's Trish Eunuch, which is Smokey's daughter, and she has Carbon Press, and she has all the books.
Oh my God, thanks, Pat.
And they're just totally, thank you. And she's got, and actually you won't find them at a better price than you will there. Everybody else takes advantage of that. Everybody wants these books. So eBay, sometimes.
Amazon is very expensive.
Oh, Amazon is
way too expensive.
Real expensive. Every once in a while, I'll find them on eBay at a price, and it's like I won't get a bidding war. So I'll buy them and I'll give them to different people. But Carbon Press, you get them right there, from the source.
And I'll link that in the description after this live stream is over, so that you all know where to buy them. We're starting with book 2, which is, what's the name of book 2, by the way?
Book 2. It depends if you go which order. I don't know which one you order. And I know that.
All right, you sons of ships.
Yes.
Yeah. All right, you sons of ships. Let's have a race.
That's it.
And you know what? So we've already gotten halfway through this book in book club previously. However, we thought that it was. First of all, we wanted to start over again because we've got a lot of new folks in the room that we've been noticing, a lot of new names, and we want to cater to you if you're interested in like restarting. But also, like for us that have already read it, like there is a lot of there's a lot of automotive history, a lot of people's names, and I kind of I want the opportunity to dive into
that book was
them.
really in-depth. Book 1 was cool. It gave us an insight of Smokey Eunuch himself from his childhood, his war days. He's a war hero.
His gold mining days.
Yes.
What an interesting person.
So you got to know a lot about him that you may have not known. Book 2 gets more into the racing stuff. But he has sections on DeLorean, as every driver, Donnie Anderson, Maya Anderson, all the Allisons there, everybody's in there, and it's almost. I'm kind of glad that we're going back to.
I'm glad too, because there were some moments like I shed some tears over some of those characters.
Yes, and
Paul Wheeler says, remember they also have a digital copy. So to do the whole book.
Yes. Paul, thank you so much for pointing that out. Yes.
There's a digital copy.
There's an so there's an option for every price range. And I will say also, like, if you need help, I cannot even, when we started the book club, I could not afford the books necessarily, and someone bought me the books. And then there were other people in the room that also could not afford the books, and others of y'all bought them the books. So, our community is insanely generous and kind. So if you really want to be a part of book club and you cannot afford the books, just let us know. Reach out to Shop Mom.
Let Shop Mom know.
And we'll see what we can do to get you in book club. We'd love to have you in book club.
And Trish does have a lot of different options.
Yes.
You can get the whole book set with the digital copy.
Yep.
You can get the digital copy.
Yep.
At one time she had the pandemic sale.
Yes.
And then we had started the book club already past that, and she actually honored us. There's some people go, man, I wish I would have known that. I already bought the first book, but I didn't want to buy the set. I couldn't afford it.
And
I was going to buy one at a time.
She still honored it. So.
I'm not saying she's going to honor that, but just talk to Trish. She's a normal person.
What's Brian's comment?
Lots of people in book 2 are voice actors in the Disney car movie.
Oh, yes, that's true.
So
that's true.
We went through it kind of quick because you have a certain pace that we need to go through it.
Yeah.
But some of them really didn't do the justice.
Yeah,
we could have stayed a whole.
deserve more time.
We could have stayed
So-
one whole day just on one person.
Definitely.
But we went through a little bit faster. But we're gonna go do it again. So.
Yeah, Andrew Miles is asking what kind of crap is this? We are wrapping up our live stream with our announcements, and we're welcoming new people to join our book club. So we do a whole bunch of things on this live stream. We talk about ASC test questions. We help people get certified by, help like giving test prep tips. I would
Yes.
say test taking tips as well. And then in each of our live streams, our happy hour live streams, we ask for ASC test questions. We sort of dive into them in depth.
We
And
try to
then
encourage
also-
technicians, mechanics, anybody in the automotive field to
Yeah.
get into this and just kind of
Exactly.
answer any questions that they may have.
Yeah, and then our live streams are also like a bunch of general shop talk. So, we're monitoring, I don't know, you can't see right here, but we're monitoring all your comments. We're trying to see, what we can do to sort of lift up people. And also, we answer a lot of questions, and we sort of talk about what's like in the field for people that actually live it. I'm an automotive technician. I used to work at the Toyota dealership. Now I work for myself, but still definitely work in the field, even though you can also find me on 2 different TV shows, which is very strange.
Okay, so how did Christy Lee?
I
Go
know-
to the bathroom.
Wait! Christy!
Another special guest appearance. See, so people are going to get used to these guest appearances at the end. The last time she was here.
Yeah, Christy, you made a special guest appearance last
Yeah.
time.
Well, thank you for stopping
Amazing!
by.
Yeah!
Yes.
Oh my God, Christy, I
And
miss
you
you
know
so
where
much.
the bathroom is, Christy.
Now she knows where the bathroom is. We get the beers from the bathroom. So the beers from the
Here's to
bathroom.
you.
You need to know where the bathroom is in order to fill up your cups.
Mm.
And then we're
Here-
doing announcements.
And then now you know why I do live streams from the bathroom. No.
Well, that was
you-
special.
That was a different
That
one.
was
and that was after.
special. That was weird.
That was
That was
really
weird?
I thought so too.
It was weird but funny.
We're funny. We're funny.
And then, actually, speaking of live streams in the bathroom, we are going to be having a live event. So we're going to be doing our second viewing party for Motor Mythbusters. If you are local to the San Antonio or Austin area, we're going to have our next viewing party for Motor Mythbusters on Saturday, October 16th. At 7 p.m. 7 p.m. come. I will be there. I will be signing stuff. I will be selling merch if you are interested in anything. I also have some giveaway items and stuff like that. And then the screening will start promptly at 8. And
There's plenty of great food for
Good
the
food,
food
yes.
truck. What's the name of his food truck?
High Bug.
High Bug.
Yes.
High Bug is great. It's Cajun food.
So good. And a lot of it's gluten free too. And there's vegetarian options and vegan options. But there's also like
Their shrimp
incredible.
poor boy is amazing.
The po' boys are so good.
I felt so bad about that.
Oh,
I
are you
was
actually?
guilty over that. I really was.
Yeah, Shop Mom said she didn't like seafood, so she was not willing to try.
And
Not
she
only
doesn't.
that, but I was snobbish about it, and I made sure everybody knew I didn't like seafood. I was really, I was obnoxious to tell you the truth.
I bought
No
her
one
some, I bought her
else
some food, a
noticed.
bunch of different things that you might like, and she's like, I'm not gonna eat this. You gave it away to somebody else, and whatever.
I gave it away.
And then when we were getting ready to go home, I went and said, you know what, load me up on some stuff. We're gonna go
I
home.
bought food to go too. It was
I
so
bought-
good. The Brussels sprouts.
And I
I
had
don't
already.
even like it's.
The Brussels sprouts are
So good.
amazing.
Yeah.
And I had already had a shrimp poor boy there, and he was already at the end, and there wasn't a lot of stuff left there. And I said, whatever you got left, make another shrimp poor boy. I'll take it as well. We get home. Of course, we're hungry because we were there drinking. It was fun. It was
Yep.
late. And
Got the drunk munchies. We need more food.
oh golly, and that shrimp poor boy hit the spot, and Shop Mom was like, that is a damn good
No,
shrimp poor-"
actually, you're missing the point. What happened was we got it home, and it's a little drive because of about where we live, and I had to take it apart and then reconstruct it. And in doing so, I saw all the care that this man had put into producing this
Yeah.
product, and it was phenomenal. I mean, I really felt bad because I'm a Food Network kind of buff, and
She's a
even
foodie.
even during the freeze, right? We had that whole Food Network vibe going. 45 minutes, 4 ingredients. What are you gonna fix?
The
And
car
I
comes back
turned
on. We
my
only got
nose
45.
up at that guy, and he
And she's
was
a great cook.
awesome.
You're not going to take the shrimp poor boy and just put it in the microwave. So she takes it apart to pull the shrimp out so that stays like that because you don't want to reheat that. Anyway, in the dissecting of it and the smells and the looks and the thing and then she did, it's just like, this is just beautiful. And like I said, you know, we watch the cooking shows and here it is right here in front of us and it's like, nah. So anyway, I think that most definitely we're going to be there, and we'll probably start off the live stream at the food truck just to,
Well, it's
to
so
tell the
good.
story.
And yeah, I took some food home to go as well, and it did not make it all the way home. In fact, I was literally eating it as I was walking up the steps to my house. I'm like, this is so good!
I don't
can't
like
stop.
vegetables.
Yes.
Oh, Brussels sprouts.
The
were
Brussels sprouts
just-
are so good. I know, who likes Brussels sprouts? They make them so good. And I actually, so, I don't know if y'all know this about me, but I used to live in New Orleans for a little bit. and I had like actual New Orleans po' boys. It was authentic. It was so good.
We can have a whole live stream just on the food. So
Wait, Andrew Miles. He didn't mean that offensively. He was wondering why we weren't doing more test questions. I will say because these live streams are supposed to be an hour long, and we are now an hour and a half long because we just wanted to spread some positivity because it seemed like a lot of people in the chats had a similar week as we had, which is like a crappy human week. So we just wanted to remind you.
The last part was just.
It was a feel-good moment.
Yes.
Yeah, feeling good.
And on a feel-good moment thought, Christy Lee says y'all need to host a food and booze review show too. Who's in? She's got her hand up.
Christy,
There
that's
you go.
brilliant. Actually, I should reach out to High Cider and see if they'd be willing to sponsor a live stream.
Yes.
Okay,
I
we'd
think
be
we
great.
can.
And the Brussels sprouts are amazing.
The Brussels sprouts are amazing. I go there like every weekend to like have more.
They are spectacular.
And Christy, I miss you.
Well, come back down, Christy, on for the viewing
I
party.
know! I miss her so
Yes.
much. That was like the best weekend ever. I couldn't even believe it. She just sat patiently in the back.
We put her in the balance room.
We put her in the balancing room.
Told her where the beer is, and
She sat in the balancing room while we did this live stream. And then she watched it, and then she was a guest at the end. Oh my gosh.
It was
Well, this is
awesome.
amazing.
It was-
Thank you so
thank
much,
you, thank
everyone,
you.
for being here. We really appreciate it. So, our next live stream, once again, is going to be on October 13th. Please get your books. We would love to have you for book club. I cannot wait. We'll be giving you your assignments then, your reading assignments. And what else are we doing then? I don't know. Nothing.
I don't know. I guess we're going to just talk
Alright.
about book club there, but and that's why we divided up kind of the smoky stuff from a Friday stuff. That's on a Wednesday in the book club because we're going to go really crazy smoky stuff.
That's the
and we
problem.
don't want to bore y'all on
People
Friday.
will get upset if all we do is talk
All we
about
do is
Smokey
talk about
Unique.
Smokey. Well, God, once
could.
you know who Smokey was, if all you do is not just talk about Smokey, I don't understand. But
I just spent like $80 on a Smokey book on eBay. I was like, I'm afraid I'm going to be
power sees.
bidding against you.
Your car
The bug
is
has
gonna
bitten.
get faster. Yes.
My car will get faster. Oh, I will have some announcements on the 13th. Also, don't forget, I have roosters for free.
Yes,
Please
for
get-
free, no
please
chicken
get my
dumplings.
roosters.
You can't call one chicken and one dumplings.
No, no. I need to get rid of these boys. Please help me.
There you
Comment
go.
below if you'll take my roosters. All right. Peace.
All right. Peace and assembly grease.
grease.
Thanks, everybody.